This is a third grade civil rights unit on Martin Luther King Jr. covering the 3.11 Social Studies SOL.
This is a National Geographic video highlighting Martin Luther King Jr. in order to engage students in the civil rights unit.
This is If You Lived at the Time of Martin Luther King by Ellen Levine. We would use this book in a differentiated jigsaw lesson where the lower readers would listen to a read-aloud about segregation and the higher readers would partner read these 2 pages on the school and social effects of segregation. The entire class would then partner up to share what they learned.
Marching for Freedom by Elizabeth Partridge would be used as an ongoing read-aloud using the timeline in the book. We would use the pictures as a visual aid to prompt discussion and reflection.
Sit-In by Andrea Davis Pinkney tells a story of a sit-in through colorful pictures and detailed descriptions. We would introduce key vocabulary such as segregation and integration. The book ends with a recipe of integration. After reading the whole book, the students would create their own recipe for integration as a whole class, which would be displayed all unit long.
Boycott Blues, How Rosa Parks Inspired a Nation by Andrea Davis Pinkney and Brian Pinkney is on the 3rd grade reading level, which would allow all students to partake in reading the text. This would be a great book to use reciprocal teaching so the students work collaboratively to learn the content in the book.
I Too Am America, a poem by Langston Hughes, is also on the 3rd grade reading level. We would have the students partner read the poem together, then create a poem of their own on their personal feelings about what it means to be an American.
March On by Martin Luther King Jr.'s sister, Christine King Ferris, tells the story of Martin Luther King Jr. and his experience in the civil rights movement and how he prepared for his I Have a Dream speech. This book will be used as inspiration for the next day's activity.
Kadir Nelson put paintings to Martin Luther King Jr.'s words in this book. We would read this to the students and discuss the meanings within his speech. The book also contains a CD copy of his speech that the students would watch to understand the engaging expressions that Martin Luther King Jr. used. We would assign each student a portion of the text for them to perform and record.
My Dream of Martin Luther King by Faith Ringgold describes the dream that a young girl had of Martin Luther King. This would be towards the end of the civil rights unit. We would have the students write their own dream and creatively share with the class.
Caption Distraction is a kid-friendly app that we will use for the last day of the civil rights unit. Prior to the lesson, we will upload appropriate and meaningful pictures for the students to use. Using the pictures, each student will create a comic having to do with the information learned throughout the week. We will then put these comics together in a book to use for review. This is the National Geographic Kids video highlighting the work and importance of Martin Luther King Jr. in order to engage our students in the civil rights unit.